Recently, I did a deep dive into all the recent data provided across so many various social media streams in the last few days, and I'm beginning to reframe my understanding of what James Gunn's Superman is striving for. Now, I published a video a little while back about not too long ago, maybe even just a week or two ago, but I was discussing what I thought James Gunn's Superman, how it would resonate with audiences. My understanding was that it would split audiences much in the way that Cavill's incarnation did. I believed that James Gunn's Superman would, very much like Man of Steel's reception, divide the audiences, that there would be a clear divide and open discourse about its reception. But then, after all the new data became available, I began to understand that this probably is false. And before the release of the film, I would like to offer you a very special report on my hopes and my current understanding of what James Gunn's Superman actually will be. I hope you enjoy. Buckle up. Here we go. In the ever-shifting landscape of superhero cinema, few reboots carry the weight of James Gunn's Superman. This isn't just another origin story or franchise launcher. It's the first stone in rebuilding an entire cinematic universe. And yet, even more daring, it's a film attempting something far greater. To unite two radically different worlds, the meticulous lore-loving comic book purists and the emotionally driven, visually literate cinema-goers. Two fandoms, one cape. This is a story of how Gunn's Superman was designed piece by piece to bridge that divide and make Superman matter again. Superman isn't just a superhero, he's the superhero, the original, the mold, the myth. Since his debut in 1938, Superman has come to represent ideals, hope, truth, justice. But in the modern era, those ideals have often felt like liabilities. How do you write a flawless man in a flawed world? How do you make a god relatable without compromising the myth? Christopher Reeve's Superman gave us warmth and grace. Henry Cavill's offered power and gravitas. Yet in both cases, something was missing: a balance. Enter James Gunn, a filmmaker known for blending satire with sincerity, elevating absurd characters into vessels of real emotion. In short, he knows how to make you care. With Superman, Gunn doesn't want to reinvent the character, he wants to reintroduce him to a world that's changed and an audience that demands more than myth. Gunn's greatest challenge isn't creating a good Superman movie, it's creating one that works for everyone. Die-hard comic fans crave accuracy, symbolism, and lore. Cinema-goers want nuance, character arcs, and stylistic vision. Gunn needs to feed both without alienating either. So what's his strategy? It starts with tone. Gunn is the binary optimism of yesterday. Here, Superman is hopeful, but in a world that often rejects hope. He's not blind to cynicism. He chooses to defy it. That choice, that's where comic book morality meets modern storytelling. For comic fans, Gunn honors mythos. For cinephiles, he delivers emotional credibility. He isn't compromising between audiences, he's combining them. At the heart of this new vision is a new Clark Kent. He's not the bumbling, bespectacled caricature. He's a man raised on Earth with the heart of Kansas and the burden of Krypton. This Clark isn't just pretending to be human, he is human. Raised in a world he's desperate to protect but forever distanced from. For comic fans, this taps into decades of source material. Grant Morrison's all-star Superman, Tom King's reflective arcs, even John Byrne's 80s reboot where Clark is the person and Superman is the mask. For film lovers, this is a character study. Clark is not defined by what he can do, but what he chooses not to do. Power without ego, strength without violence. This is a Superman who asks the question, what do I owe the world? And answers it with compassion. But tone and character alone don't capture the cinematic crowd. Cinematography matters. Framing matters. Emotion is communicated not just through dialogue, but through design. Gunn's Superman promises a visual tone that feels grounded, not heightened. The world around him is tangible. The lighting is naturalistic. The color's vibrant, but human. This isn't the cold grandeur of Snyder's Superman, nor is it the nostalgic simplicity of Donner's. It's somewhere in between. Warm, real, but unmistakably grand. Gunn is using practical effects where he can, focused close-ups, meaningful silences. It's a film that feels real, so that when Superman flies, it's not just spectacle, it's spiritual. For film lovers, this is a story built on cinematic language. For fans, it's a love letter to a character told with restraint and reverence. But Gunn's Superman isn't just a movie, it's the foundation of a new universe, the first chapter in Gods and Monsters. Yet instead of rushing to crossover chaos and forced cameos, Gunn is playing the long game. He's building the DCU not through shared logos, but through shared themes. Superman's idealism sets the emotional tone, so when Supergirl, Swamp Thing, or the Authority arrive, they contrast with him, reflect him, or challenge him. It's not about cramming heroes into one frame, it's about establishing moral texture. Gunn's Superman isn't the center of attention, he's the compass. This gives both fans and newcomers a consistent emotional language. The stories might differ, but they rhyme. A reboot lives or dies on its lead, and David Corenswet is no accident. He carries the physical presence of Superman, broad shoulder, square jaw, but more importantly, he carries the energy of Clark Kent, quiet integrity, softness without weakness. He's not a star trying to play a hero. He's a grounded actor embodying something larger than life. Meanwhile, Rachel Brosnahan's Lois Lane, sharp, dynamic, capable. She's not a damsel or a plot device. She's a co-lead, a voice of reason, a fire starter. This cast isn't built to sell tickets, it's built to belong in this world. Just like the characters, these performers don't feel like gods. They feel like people, with extraordinary choices ahead of them. So how do you unite comic diehards with cinephiles? With themes, ideas that transcend medium. Gunn's Superman hinges on timeless pillars: hope in the face of despair, moral clarity in a world of compromise, alienation and belonging. These aren't just comic book ideas. They're Shakespearean, they're Spielbergian. They're what make a story universal, not niche. When Superman saves a cat from a tree and stares down a warlord with equal gravity, it reminds us why he matters. He doesn't ignore the small stuff, because to him, everything matters. In a world that constantly tries to minimize goodness, Gunn's Superman chooses to maximize it. One of the oldest criticisms of Superman is that he's outdated, too clean, too perfect, too naive. Gunn rejects this entirely. In this version, Superman isn't a relic, he's a response to endless cynicism, to heroes that kill, to systems that fail, to stories that confuse darkness with depth. This is a Superman who sees humanity's flaws and loves it anyway. Not because it's perfect, but because it tries. Clark's upbringing in Kansas isn't played for nostalgia. It's the source of his moral code. His alien heritage isn't a curse. It's a reason to cherish Earth even more. Gunn doesn't strip away the myth, he grounds it. We still get the Fortress of Solitude, the cave, the heat vision, the flying. But we also get a man sitting quietly at his desk, wondering if he made the right choice. A superhero who listens more than he speaks. Service done right. And yes, there will be nods, comic references, deep cuts, lore sprinkled for those who know where to look. But fan service? It's not a checklist, it's a tool. James Gunn has proven time and time again that he respects source material without being shackled to it. He didn't just make Guardians of the Galaxy work, he made you cry over a talking raccoon. He made the Suicide Squad both ridiculous and devastating. So when he references Superman's red trunks, or the bottle city of Kendor, or Mr. Mix's Petlick, it will be earned, not empty, because Gunn knows something vital. When you respect the story first, the fans follow naturally. James Gunn's Superman isn't trying to reinvent the wheel, it's trying to remind us why the wheel mattered in the first place. It's a film that believes sincerity is not weakness, that myth can live alongside cinema, that a symbol can still inspire. Even in a world exhausted by symbols, comic book fans will see a Superman they know, movie lovers will find a story that resonates beyond capes. And both will walk out of the theater believing in something rare. That goodness is still worth fighting for. Gunn's Superman is a promise, a blueprint, a bridge, and maybe, just maybe, It's the story we've all been waiting for. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed what you heard here today, please do remember to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notifications button for additional stories on similar topics. And as always, I will catch you in the next one.